You're listening to Romancing the Dungeon, a softcore D&D podcast about heroes navigating their daily lives while looking for love in a world full of peril, monsters, and heartbreakers. This show is intended for mature audiences as it contains adult themes, and not the thirsty softcore kind in case that's what you're here for. Content warnings for specific episodes can be found in the episode description. Previously on Romancing the Dungeon.
Yesterday was another rough ride in the caravan. Winds hitting hard against the walls. Oh, it made me think of that Xmas storm years ago in Tez. Until now, I didn't realise how far from home I am. I hope tonight I dream of you again.
For the last 24 hours, Fia, the wind has just walloped and banged and crashed into the carriage. The storm doesn't seem to have let up. You could barely hear Ronnie's calls and calls from some of the crew that did have to go outside for people to brace themselves to watch their supplies. The cold is it's nothing you've ever felt before, and you were out with Una traversing kind of the Galeshire side of the mountains. Here it feels like more exposed. It's been slow. The travelling and the no one to talk to, no real distractions has kind of made the ceiling feel longer. Trying to sleep is hard because of the cold, because of the sound, because of the noise, because of everything. And it's that sort of, I can't do much. And even as you try and peer out, it's just a sheet of white that seems to have just enveloped the Phalite Cabaret and the train of carriages that follow it. At some point, you recognize you must have fallen asleep. It had caught you had fallen into that trance. Rash is sort of nudging the door with his large head, and you do hear people out and about.
Okay, we need all hands to help with the roads.
And again, there's just a banging on yours.
All right, Fia, you want to help Sags and me kind of clear the roads a small bit, get up, move those lazy bones of yours?
Sure, give me 2 secs, I'll just get dressed. And just before I put on, like, say, from my nightgown into my normal clothes, I actually open the door for Rash so he can get out.
On the other side, you recognize the voice as Nan anyway, but you see her, and Rash immediately kind of just barrels straight into her. You are very good. And she just kind of rubs his head and turns to Sykes. And you see they're now digging out the snow from around the carriages. You see his tail had been, like his whole back had just been going with it, wobbling. Yeah. And now he just slumps down into himself.
I give him a little pat and I leave him and I go and I get dressed. And I come back out to the door and I'm assuming he's still kind of there on the stoop. And I'm like, well, let's at least stretch our legs, Rash, until we can solve this. Come on.
Give me an animal handling check.
A little better as a 14.
He follows kind of behind you. He's close to you. You can kind of hear his heavy paws on the snow. You do see, like, most of the Phalite members out and about. Anyone and everyone is helping to sort of clear the road. And you do see at the head of the carriages, Claudine sort of on the stairs up to the door to theirs, just sort of surveying, and Ronnie on the roof kind of like looking around as well.
I think not to draw any attention or to like be standing back looking around. It is just generally going to dig in I don't know if there's any spare shovels or that going around, but she's going to get one if she can, or even whatever she can get her hands on to help start moving snow away from, like, say, the wheels and stuff like that, and clearing it away.
One of the workers passes you. Give me a perception check. DC 18.
25.
As they pass, you see that they're well covered. They're wearing kind of a heavy coat, a scarf wrapped around their face, the hood kind of pulled up, and there's like a cap underneath it. And you just see their eyes. And for the briefest of moments, you recognize the person who passes you. Julius Nightbloom.
My head kind of whips around.
The worker just keeps moving.
Completely distracted. I think Fia, like, now is completely distracted and just watching this worker has completely stopped what she's doing. So, like, she is standing out now compared to the rest of them. And then eventually she does, like, snap out of it and, like, start shoveling, but then constantly popping her head up, keeping her eyes on this person.
They haven't approached, they haven't said anything to you, they're just moving up and down. And again, they're just kind of drifting further back along the carriage, kind of just helping people.
I suppose in this time while she's also keeping an eye on him, she is wondering, it's like, oh, did he recognise me? No, he didn't. He can't. Because I look different. Should I make him recognise me? No. I don't know if I don't know him that well. Should I?
Little bird, you should not be digging. You are precious. Your little wings, we can't have them damaged. You should be bundled up and wrapped in warm, fine cloth and silk.
Ronnie has set himself upon you.
Oh, I'd rather keep myself busy, Ronnie, and help.
This will warm the cockles of your heart, my little bird.
And he puts a small wooden cup, like he kind of gestures it to you, cupping it into your hands, and then kind of putting his hand around it.
I kind of pull my hand away, taking the cup from him, so my hands are not enveloped in his.
A little drink never helps to warm the heart.
Is there alcohol in this?
Just a petit peu. A little drop.
I don't like to be rude and refuse, but I don't. I want to help, and I don't think alcohol will help this situation right now.
No.
And you see that there are other people kind of passing out these little wooden cups. And there's a little kind of steam kind of rising off of it.
I take the, droplet of a sip.
It's very sweet. And it has sort of a citrusy taste to it. And it's hot. You've never had this before.
She just takes that, like, minute sip of it and just kind of smiles.
Oh, the color has come back into your little cheeks.
And he does. He's kind of beaming up at you. Underneath the heavy coat that he's wearing, you see that vest.
With the pins.
With all the different pins and medallions and trinkets.
The sight of that does kind of send, not from the cold, but does send a chill up Fia's spine.
Drink up. There is still work to be done, and the cold, she is a cruel mistress. Much like my wife.
And then there is just a, Ronnie, a moment, my love. Let everybody get back to work. And
You see? Taskmaster, a very cruel taskmaster. Oh, Birdie, you must save me from her sometime. We poof into the distance.
And he kind of turns heels, chuckling away to himself.
I keep an eye on him as he's going up, and my eyes do, say, pass over him and up towards Claudine.
She does seem to be sort of observing. They head inside and the door closes.
When that happens, I go over to my caravan, which I'd say that's where I'm kind of closely probably working around at the moment, I'd assume.
Sure. Yeah.
I quickly go up and I step inside and I leave the cup inside, not touched, on my countertop, and I go back to working away.
that's kind of how most of the morning passes. With the amount of crew and members of the Phaelite cabaret, family, troupe, carnival, the job passes pretty quickly. Ronnie's little sharp whistle cuts through the air and the caravan just starts moving again.
When he does whistle, Fia is again lost in a little thought bubble, just standing to the side, looking up and down at the caravan. I'd say her eyes have drifted away now from Julius since Ronnie's visit, and now her focus has kind of re-gone onto the stage itself and where it is.
You know, a lot of the gear equipment, you would have been rehearsing with Nixie and Willow and Talon around a lot of that stuff, like around a lot of those kind of wagons and stuff. That's where all that kind of stuff was kept. You see them there kind of towards the end.
So is all, like, say, the equipment and the stage, that's at the very, very end, is
yes,
it? Okay.
Yeah. It's interspersed.
Right. Also, there
would need to be people at the back as well.
Yes.
This stuff is cargo. This stuff is important.
Yeah. I'm just assuming, now correct me if I'm wrong, that one of these carts is purely just the stage only as itself, as its own entity? Or is the stage, when it is broken down, is it broken down into pieces?
It's broken into pieces.
Right.
If you remember when you left Boudoir, you travelled with part of it. So
yeah,
it's not just that's the one thing and that unfurls and we bring it. The stage is built each time. And
what is it, mostly like a wooden structure then, the stage itself? Yeah, okay.
You do know that there were those kind of...
There was some mechanical parts.
The sun and the moon and the backs, the screen, like the backstage screen. There were all those elements to it, but its frame is wooden.
Okay. While waiting for them to get the nod to move off, that's what she has been staring at after they finish clearing away from the wheels, is at the stage equipment. And then when Ronnie whistles, she gets up into her carriage and holds the door open, waiting for Rash to join too.
Yeah, Rash kind of comes bounding in, doesn't shake the snow off until he gets inside. As you sort of head inside and you close the door behind you and you settle, time is an illusion. The caravan is moving. And as quickly as you kind of start out, you seem to stop again. You just hear from the front, Ronnie.
We need a meeting. This is quite important. So, post haste, c'est oreille, right now, everybody.
And you do hear the sound of doors opening and people hopping out.
I wrap up. Well, not that I'm not already wrapped up because it's still quite cold, but I wrap up more and hop out and go towards the group.
Everybody is kind of spilling up to the front. And give me a perception check.
30.
You don't see Ridge, Julius, Nightbloom. You don't see him in the crowd. But everybody, Nana, Rash kind of pass you, and everybody kind of spills up towards Ronnie and Claudine. Family, you are aware that we are going to be making a brief stop. Well, whenever, and she kind of gestures out into the eastern skyline, you see very heavy black clouds barreling over the sides of mountain peaks. There is a huge storm in the distance. We could push on, but we fear that there may be more damage done to our homes. So we will travel, and again, still kind of gesturing down the road. You are on kind of the cusp of a hill, kind of looking down the road. And it is just miles of snow and rock.
I'd say probably you can barely make out the lining of the road when the snow falls anymore.
Yeah, it's sort of just swallowed by this. Down the hill, you do see sort of a cloister of trees. We will make camp this evening. Full camp. We can take shelter. All of you will be needed. Performers included. And her eyes kind of drift towards you. She kind of looks for Nixie and Willow. All hands on deck. Some of you might want to help cook if we'd like to eat something more than just cured meats and cheeses. I would ask that we all chip in together. So we will press on and we will see how the weather treats us. Before people have even kind of gotten to their carriages, their own kind of little spaces, it's already moving on. Like people are kind of just able, it's not at any massive speed, but you see people kind of like reach up and kind of jump in as the procession of carriages moves on. After some time, you see the kind of the lead carriage drift off the road, and then it begins to kind of wind in itself. So it's that sort of, that's going to be kind of at the heart of this, and do you get me?
I
so
get like an Irish spiral in a way, where it's curling in and in. Yeah.
No, it's not a tight thing, but it is kind of making walls.
Yeah.
And some of the crew who had chosen to kind of just walk alongside, keeping an eye on the road, are already kind of beginning to set up a large kind of campfire space.
Makes sense as well, because like Ronnie and Claudine would want to be the most secure.
A couple of things you notice, and I won't ask you to roll for this because what's the point? You see some of the carriages at the back are unhitched and are brought into the centre. Some of the ones that you had been keeping an eye on.
How many is it? Like, is it like half of them?
Two.
Two in particular. Okay. So that's immediately where my attention is drawn to.
After that, the other thing you kind of notice is that crew and performers are rolling in to like help. Cook is sort of setting up a large kind of couple of cauldrons and is kind of preparing food.
I think, considering that Fia has helped cook before, that's where she's going to go back and assist with the cooking of whatever Cook is cooking.
It just seems to be sort of like a hearty stew. Like we're not dealing with anything.
Best thing for the weather.
And she kind of just gives you kind of a smile, and there is a small sort of station set up where she's kind of prepping meat and veg.
I do ask, I'm like, how are we doing on rations, Cook? Do you need me to try and do any hunting or?
Well stocked, absolutely well stocked. Well, don't worry, all stocked.
So we've enough to get us to where we're going?
Oh, there and back.
Oh.
Ronnie and Claudine never have a hungry mouth at their camp.
Oh, okay. No, just if you ever did need anything else, I could go out and hunt for a few bits for us.
Oh, no, not at all. Ronnie takes care of all the supplies.
Okay. Just wondering, that's all. And I just pop my head back down and keep prepping.
Again, it's that thing of like, she's not, this isn't a, 4-star restaurant or anything like that. Like, she's not coming over to cook those things or dice properly. It's more just stuff is kind of moving your way, and it's mostly potatoes. Again, hearty, filling. You are sort of kind of left to your own devices. Nixie is kind of further along, and you see that she is kind of helping cook with kind of like, she's stirring the...
Has picked like a job, but a job that's... Yeah.
But she seems to be keeping an eye on kind of the fire. Like that's kind of... Just keeping an eye on the pots. She's supervising.
She's supervising. Yeah.
You don't see Willow anywhere. Talon seems to be kind of with a crew of the workers, including Sykes, and they seem to be just checking the carriages, making sure that everything's kind of... There's no major repairs needed around that, so...
Everything's tied down and yeah.
You don't see Ronnie or Claudine. They don't, after kind of Claudine's announcement, they haven't kind of emerged. That's kind of how the day rolls on, and that rolls into evening and night. It's sort of becoming that sort of just time drifting. The smell of the smoke from the campfire, the smell from the stew that's been cooking away for the last couple of hours has kind of filled the air, and you didn't realize it, but your stomach is hungry for something with a bit more sustenance than just meats and fruits and cheeses and breads. So
this trip with the troupe has definitely made Fia's stomach very spoilt when it comes to food.
You and many others, because there is already sort of you see lots of hungry faces around. You don't see Seamus. Kind of as you scan, you still don't see Ridge. You haven't seen him since he passed you.
I think at this stage, Fia is nearly wondering, was that a figment of her imagination? Do you know, in a way, because we've been in this white environment for so long. Is like like a mirage and like an oasis of like just being surrounded by the same blank, stark reality
Sort of
around
filling
her.
in things.
Yeah. So she's very much, because she hasn't seen him since or anything like that, or any shape or similar clothing, that she's just kind of popped that to the back of her mind. But Seamus has been in her mind for the past few days, because the last time she tried to get in touch with him, he was, quote unquote, sick in his cabin. And there's been no sign of him since.
You see one of the crew mosey up to Claudine and Ronnie's carriage, food in hand, knock on the door. Ronnie appears, takes it, and he calls out to everybody again and again. It's that sort of, eat, drink, be merry, but not too merry, mes amis. We have a journey to continue in the morning. And the wind picks up. And everybody is reminded that you are in the cold. And that storm that was on the horizon is that little bit closer, and it begins to snow. Mood in the camp is kind of weird. People are chatting and stuff like that, but it seemed to be different when you were at Nice or Boudoir. It was a bit more lively. See, everyone here seems to be sort of hunkered down and almost sort of like solitary. It's that sort of like people are
because there's no one around. There's no performance of personality.
Really,
yeah.
It's like everybody's in a different mindset.
I'd say probably, like in Fia's mind, is probably as well, the weather's probably playing into that too.
Yeah, there's just no sense of joviality. Nothing like that. What are you doing for the rest of the evening with a bowl full of stew, or I assume a belly full of stew at this point?
Belly full of stew at this point. Again, it's just like she is waiting for her time for when everything calms down more, the same as she did the previous night.
So is this, you want to go, like, when you say the previous night, you mean when you went to visit Nana and Sykes?
Her aim this night is those two pieces of the stage. So I guess
that have been brought in.
Okay. I guess after they've eaten and people start, like, she's not the first one to go back to her carriage, but she starts moseying in the middle to not draw attention to herself and that kind of thing, not being the last one out either. She does go back in, she takes out the notes that Silas gave her, and she's trying to, because you did mention there was some slight drawings on them. I suppose with the two pieces that are out and brought in closer, she's trying to see what matches up to what Silas may have drawn, or if it matches up to something.
But they're carriages.
They're covered in, are they?
Yes.
Oh,
So
right.
This isn't like a wagon deal.
Gotcha.
You'd actually have to try and get in.
That's fine. So I guess while she's waiting for more time to pass, she is looking at these images to really kind of burn them into her head for what she's looking for.
It kind of matches what you saw of the stage. Like, you remember that the sort of the sun and the moon and those kind of wooden kind of carvings that moved. That is all there. But there is that mention that Ronnie took the plans, and Silas, or Alexei, his real name, he didn't know what he was doing with them.
Yeah.
But then you remember him saying the doll, the ballerina, saying the stage was dangerous.
And that is one element. Like, I know the backdrop was always changing, but the sun and the moon and that was always an element that was there.
Yes.
Every night. Yeah. So it's very much, that's her focus, to look at those elements of the stage if they are in those two carriages. Yeah.
So you're waiting dead of night, trying to skulk out again?
Yeah. Same thing though. It's going to be hopping on carriage roofs things, purely because, especially now that they're under the trees, she doesn't want to leave any tracks that can be kind of spotted. So that's why she's going up and above, and also to have a vantage point, because from the previous night with crew members walking around and keeping an eye on things.
And it is much the same. Like, it's night rolls in, people have kind of dispersed. You don't even hear the music that you did the previous nights. Even the musicians have kind of,
the cold's got to them probably.
Yeah. As you kind of like look out and you can do through, that snow has continued again. It's not letting up, and that might bring some cover, but you do you're looking out onto the roof of one of the other carriages on the other side of the ring opposite you. Your Echo Knight appears, and I need you to make a stealth roll. And I'm going to tell you right now, your DC is set for 20 for all of these.
Okay. 29.
Okay. As you stare out and the Echo Knight appears, that ring of torches, the light from the campfire, all of these things are helping illuminate this space a bit more, which means you can see more, but you could also be seen. With just that breath, you swap places. You see that orc woman from the town of Boudoir that had been kind of confronting the sister, that nun, that lady before Claudine kind of rocked up earlier. She's one of the stage hands. She now seems to be sort of on a patrol. She seems to be kind of just walking. She's quite tall. She's about 6'9", 6'10". Heavy cloak wrapped up around her.
Is she close to me now in terms of...
If the spiral is around the campfire, the interior, so she seems to have been in the middle, and now she's walking around. So she's opposite side of the ring to you and on the outside of the carriages.
With the direction she's going, I'm going to kind of go to match her so she's...
Okay, so you're trying to keep pace
with
her?
I'm still using the echo knife for the jump. Instead of going say from my carriage straight into the next, if she's kind of gone around, say anti-clockwise, I'm going to go to the next carriage anti-clockwise.
So you're going to try and take your time more.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to need you to make another stealth roll.
Oh yeah. 31.
Okay. You watch, you wait. She's right beside the carriages that you need to get to. As you see her sort of drift further on the outside of the ring, almost when she's kind of up, kind of almost a third of the way to you, Echo Knight appears and you swap, and Echo Knight just dissipates into the snow. You are standing on the roof of one of the carriages that you were eyeing earlier on.
I'm going to do the same thing I did when I went to Nana and Sykes', where I'm looking. Do these have windows, these ones?
Again, there are kind of
little
lats.
lats.
You're kind of looking down into it.
So she's going to pop her Echo Knight down into it and do the same trade, so she's inside one of them.
I'm going to ask you to roll a D4. So 1 to 2 is carriage A, 3 to 4 carriage B.
1.
By luck, blind luck, your Echo Knight appears, you swap, and you do see boxes and all sort of manner of scaffolding covered in tarp. Quite obviously, at the back of this carriage, you do see jutting out under the tarp the ends of that sun and moon.
Being now in the wagon, I do make my way over quietly, so not to get the wagon rocking or anything like that, because obviously there's not supposed to be people in this kind of thing. Taking my time walking over and feeling out, like how Fia would have done when she was doing work for her brother, feeling out the floorboards underneath her as she's placing her feet to go forward towards this, to look at it properly.
Yeah, you do. I'm what's the point in asking you to roll for it? But you do. For some reason, Quillo had you creep through the houses quietly. Testing the floorboards. You have to test those floorboards for rot.
Looking back now, Fia realizes that she was so dumb.
Yeah, there is that. Oh, yeah. And when you think of Quillo, there is that sort of disconnect. You are standing at the other end of this carriage in front of the stage piece. So
I slowly lift up the tarp that's on it, and I kind of put it over myself so I'm underneath the tarp with the piece and looking at it. And I don't even know what I'm looking for. I really don't. I know there's something going on. The stage is dangerous. I just want to see, and I'm not a magical person either, which really doesn't help, but I just want to see if there's any elements of this that catch my eye that just look strange. I'm hoping something maybe from the years of working with my brother around antiquities can help me find something that's off.
Give me an investigation check.
Natural 1.
Describe to me how you, what are you doing with this? Is it just staring at it? Are you kind of the other way with the ballerina? It was eventually sort of looking at it and trying to...
I guess I do start, because I know these mechanisms all kind of move, and I'm being stupid. And I try and, because they're probably lined, say, in the same line from the pendulum that they're attached to. And I am trying to move the sun out of the way to get a closer look at the moon.
As you place your hands on it, 2 things happen. You hear music, and you forget why you're here. Lose a level.
What? Fuck.
You can do the leveling stuff afterwards if you want.
I have it done.
Okay. That music is playing. You have no idea why you're in here.
What am I doing?
There's a moment, Via, you hear footsteps, and the carriage door sort of slides open. A light pours in. You forget why you are here, but your eyes catch the black shards set into the sun and moon's faces. And you remember them from the Fortress of Aptitude.
Holy
It's
fuck.
unmistaken.
But someone's in here with me now.
That orc woman is standing there. You just hear, "Hey, who's back there?" As her voice kind of booms down the carriage, you don't do anything, and then she climbs inside.
Now that she has... I feel so screwed. I'm under this tarp.
She's in the carriage.
I give up and I lift it up.
Birdie, what are you doing in here?
I don't know.
Hella? Hella, is everything all right? And you hear Claudine's voice. The ensuing back and forth. Everything's okay. Birdie is looking at the stage. And Claudine appears. Oh, Birdie. Is everything all right?
Yeah. And I'm looking around really, really confused.
Are you looking for something?
I don't know.
Perhaps sleepwalking.
Yeah. I'm scratching my head. Just completely befuddled.
The weather, the traveling, the long nights, it can be a little heavy on the mind, especially if you're not used to it. Come on. Hella. And the orc woman kind of steps in further and kind of like reaches for you.
I go without any, they don't have to force me anywhere. I go.
Claudine you see her kind of look you up and down. You are looking a little pale, Bertie. I will have one of the crew keep an eye on you this evening. Try to get some rest.
Yeah, okay. Just pure befuddlement is all over Fia's face right now. It's not put on at all. It's pure just... Confusion. Yeah.
Claudine kind of looking up into the carriage, kind of moves to the side as Hella kind of escorts you out. She shuts the carriage again behind the pair of you, and Claudine kind of like shoos you out of the central kind of ring. Sleep well, Birdie.
I'm walking off and I kind of give a half smile, but as I do, and I'm looking back at her, I'm scratching my head in confusion.
You see her talking to Hella. She has taken her aside and they are talking as you sort of wave them off. As you head back to your carriage, you notice there's a boot print on the step. Doesn't match yours.
I reach to my side to where I have one of my daggers hilted and just have my hand on it, and I pull the door open very quickly.
Rash just kind of looks right up at you, and you see that he's gnawing on a ham hock.
Where did you get that?
He just goes back to eating.
I step inside the door and I look around over my shoulder to see if I see anything else.
What's your passive perception?
22.
Yay!
Well, hang on, no, I might have changed now.
Actually, would you please consult your character sheet?
20.
Oh, no, you don't see anything. You're blind.
Oh,
to the world.
fuck's sake.
No, you do. the journal you had bought, you've been kind of tucking it in under your pillow or mattress even. I think maybe just kind of forced to have it. Just the corner of it is jutting out from under the mattress.
Still with my hand on the hilt of my dagger, I do go over and I pull it out to see if anything is askew with it or anything
Nope. It's
taken
just,
from it
no,
or pages
it seems
missing.
to be pages, paper, everything seems to be intact.
I look around the rest of the carriage to see if anything else is out of place. Nothing.
You don't notice anything.
So my eyes, I go back. I have the door closed now. I go back to the door and I'm just staring out the window.
A couple of minutes later, Hella passes. And then, again, stopping a couple of carriages away. Just standing there waiting, watching.
Mm.
Nothing else happens for the evening. Or the night.
Feeling very vulnerable. And it's not as if she's written anything crazy in this, but it feels very violating for her to know that someone was in here looking at that. Even though it's honestly been very mundane entries that she's had.
Remind me again, is she signing it off as Birdie?
She's not signing it off as anything. Before she used to sign every day off with her name. Now it's very mundane.
Short little paragraphs.
Short little paragraphs. Yeah. Woke up today, had breakfast at this hour of the morning. Went and did this, went and did that.
Talking about the weather.
Talking about very mundane. I think it's just more, she's using it more to keep in the habit of writing. But even that, knowing someone has just looked in that, it does feel very violating.
That and the absence of what you were doing. The last thing you remember was digging. You were digging out some of the carriages. You were helping people.
Yeah, when did we end up here?
Yeah, there is that sort of, and it's not like the memory's there, but I can't get it. There's just
blank. She does, because this happened before that, then realise and freak out. Did someone find Silas's notes where she hid them?
Back in the...
It's in the carriage. They're hidden in the carriage.
So you've been putting them back into the little ballerina.
No, I hid them somewhere else.
Okay.
I didn't stay where.
Yeah.
So I don't know about the mat. It's a built-in unit that the mattress is on with say drawers and stuff underneath.
Sort of like a bunk that's sort of, you could push it up and have another space kind of underneath it. So it's kind of a pull-down bunk.
So she has been kind of keeping them in behind that, where that mechanism is, somewhere that no one would ever really look that there might be something in, or even go near, because you're going to catch your fingers and that's going to hurt. Yeah.
Kind of immediately the Silas's notes, you go, everything seems to be there.
And then freaking out, she looks around to see, make sure no one's looking in at her.
No, you don't see. Again, you are, with the exception of Rash, who has now devoured most of that hawk, alone.
She does then fear like she's lost memories and that of say the past while. It's wait, maybe I need to get rid of these. I don't want to get in any more trouble. I know I'm in serious trouble now and everyone's watching me, and it's the last thing I wanted. Maybe I should get rid of Silas's notes. What if I forget more stuff? I shouldn't get rid of his notes. This starts playing in her head. Maybe I should hide them somewhere else. But am I being watched now? Should I do that right now? And this goes on and on and on until eventually she does pass out and fall asleep. Blue light fell across the mountains this morning, and for a moment it looked almost kind. Every bump in the road makes the caravan creak like it might split apart. When I closed my eyes, I thought I heard your laugh in the wind. All day I tried to hold on to it, as though it was real. Resting now, I feel heavier than I should, like a stone pulling at me. Even so, I keep writing, because it feels like a way back to you.
Once again, the following morning, you are sort of awoken by the sounds of people outside. The sound of like snow and ice being scraped away. You feel the carriages jostle back and forth, and you do seem to be moving.
Woken up, and while the carriage and that is moving to start taking off again, I've started not even writing in the journal anymore. Now it's doodling, it's drawing pictures. And what she's been doodling all morning is sprigs of mistletoe, just all over the corners of the pages that she's already written on. She's not doing anything else, not adding any more to it just yet. She doesn't feel, again, she feels quite vulnerable. So she doesn't feel like, even though it's mundane, she doesn't feel like adding anything like that. But what she is adding is a memory of AJ to the pages that no one else would know.
There's a moment where the carriage sort of jostles back and forth quite quickly, and it's the reverse mover, then in forward, then back, and then forward again, and you do feel it kind of rise and kind of bop as it kind of heads out onto the road. Short while later, and again you're moving not at any massive pace, you're not racing. There is a knock at your door.
Birdie, it's Claudine.
Oh my God, my stomach just dropped out my body.
May I come in?
And the door opens anyway.
Claudine walks in to just seeing me doodling on a blank page now, this time, just doodling again and again.
I wanted to drop by and see if you happened to get any rest last night.
Not very much.
She moves further in and she kind of sits at the edge of the bed, kind of clambering up, just kind of drops down. You still look a little sickly. I wonder if it is all the travelling. You don't know what you were doing in the stage carriage?
A lot of yesterday is gone. I don't know.
And she reaches up to you. She kind of, with the back of her hand, kind of presses it into kind of your face. You're a little warm, but I don't think it's a fever. Maybe just continue to rest.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
We're a day away from our little diversion, but we'll get there soon enough. So try and catch your rest and your spirits. I hate to see one of my special performers looking downtrodden and unwell.
Yeah, I'll try and get myself back together.
And her hand takes yours and she gives it a very firm squeeze. Do. Nobody has use for a lame performer. And she slips off the bed.
I'm silent while I'm watching her leave.
And she heads out the door. Caravan continues. Again, morning into afternoon, afternoon into evening, evening into dusk, and dusk into night. Is there anything you want to do this night?
So another big concern for Fia's obviously was Seamus and his well-being. But I think the events of last night and the memory loss have rattled her a lot more than she'd like to admit. She does feel physically very and mentally very thrown off and very scared and very afraid of Claudine. Because I very much felt like a threat when she was in the carriage earlier. As good as she is at sneaking and getting into places, she feels like right now she's taken way too many risks and it's just backfired extremely badly on her now. And weirdly, because she doesn't know why, but thoughts of her brother are popping into her head. Whether it's being in a carriage again and like images of the two of them fighting for space on the one bed that was always made up while they were travelling to lie down on and relax.
As these memories come to you, it's as if they pass through some kind of... You remember them perfectly. You remember the colours, you remember the sounds, the laughter, the smells, the feel of the sheets under your hands.
The emotion is grey.
Yeah. The memory is full of colour, but the feelings are non-existent. They are, as you said, grey.
I really don't know what she's going to do now. Like, I know I did want to get out and do more snooping and stuff, but she is really shook. Really, 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 really shook. She hasn't been able to help Nan and Sykes. She doesn't remember anything, if she found out anything, from looking at the stage. She feels also that feeling of uselessness. She's by herself. She's really, really missing the comfort of her friends now. Having someone else to rely on. She's getting tired of being the one making all these decisions. Being alone now for so long. Completely alone, even though surrounded by so many people.
As you lose yourself and you just fall into this spiral of despair and doubt, thinking about your friends, thinking about what would they do in this situation, this scenario, wanting to find out more, wanting to find out what happened, wanting to find out why you were there. There is a moment where you feel eyes on you. And then there's just a... from the other side of the carriage, near one of the high little windows.
Is that on the side where the bed is?
The bed is, yeah.
And she's kind of sitting in the middle of it. And her eyes... She doesn't move, but her eyes turn to the window where she heard the noise coming from. And she slowly gets up and lifts the head to look down and peek down.
You see a pair of eyes looking up at you. What you had thought earlier on was just sort of the day before, it's a bit of a blur with the memory and everything that's kind of happened since. But when you see them, you recognize them. It wasn't just a figment of your imagination. You see Julius Nightbloom looking up at you, his eyes piercing yours.
I'm just looking at him, just bewildered.
Fia, I know it's you.
I don't know if you can see my eyes. They do slightly move back.
I'm not here with the army. I can't stay here, Fia. I think the people you are traveling with, I think you know how dangerous they are. We need to find a way to get you away from them, away from here. You've no reason to trust me, Fia. I just want you to be safe.
The wagon with the stage. There's something. I don't know what's wrong with it.
Forget this place.
I have people here I know. Something's wrong.
You can't. I cannot save you and them. Up ahead, there is a short tunnel. Meet me there. And you see him just sort of vanish.
The fear of moving and going out again petrifies her, but this slight touch of comfort, seeing someone she knows, doesn't know well, but someone she knows, she's going to go out and meet Ridge.
Peering out, you do see, again, the landscape has shifted ever so slightly. It's hard to kind of make it out, but you can see with some of those torches that you are heading kind of into a much more sort of rocky overhang. And in the distance, you see what might be the tunnel that Ridge was talking about. Julius, give me a stealth roll, please. DC 18.
27.
DC, what was the point? But again, peering out, Echo Knight appears and you swap. You're out in the cold. You see, you hear the sounds of the carriage wheels kind of reverberating in the tunnel. You can watch as, like, the lanterns flit past.
I am looking around to see where Julius is. Also, I'm like still putting my Echo ahead of me and swapping it, so I'm kind of keeping in time with where my carriage is, so I don't have to go running up after it.
Mm-hmm. You see, the tunnel is quite short. It's only about 80 feet.
This is making me concerned, not seeing a sight of him. So well, how tall is it?
Kind of looking up, about 40 feet.
Oh, so there is a gap at the top of, say.
Yeah, so you're not. It's not that you're like scraping underneath. Like, there is between
space.
The tops of the carriages and the roof of the kind of the tunnel.
I think just to be safe, I do pop up there, not seeing him on either side, to get better vantage to see if I can see him anywhere.
At the edge of the tunnel, kind of as that front caravan moves out, there's somebody up ahead.
I start bamfing up on top of the carriages to get up closer to this person.
There's a moment where, as the carriage comes out under the dark of the tunnel, out into the light, you see Seamus, Claudine, Ronnie, and lying at their feet, Julius Nightbloom. I told you, Claudine, I told you. I knew I heard them. I knew I heard they were talking. And they just look up at you. The caravan comes to a stop. There is heavy footsteps. And as you turn, you see an orc woman barrel into you. And it's just dark. But we're not done. You feel the familiar grooves of the chair, and as your eyes blink open and adjust, even blurry, even with kind of a pain in your head, you would know home anywhere. The shelves laden with overflow stock from the shop below, the smell of dust and mothballs and whatever you had tried to cook 3 nights ago still lingering in the air, the familiar feel of the cherry ash timber of the table. And as your eyes and your vision recover, you find yourself, Fia, sat in your chair at the table in your home above Burbage and Sons, and sat across from you, the Raven Queen.
There's a weird sense of comfort being in a familiar space.
That feeling swells, and you see it in front of you, a glowing light, as the comfort is drawn out of you.
And I'm looking at her with curiosity, but different
and the
from...
curiosity wells inside of you, and you feel it drawn, and a light bubbles up in front of you on the table.
What is this?
You are coming face to face with two paths. My little raven, I can take you safely down one of them. I can give you all the tools and power that you need to survive. Or you can choose your own path and live to regret it.
What do I have to give you? I'm assuming your path, your protection, comes at a cost.
To protect yourself, you have to detach. And she holds a hand up, and you see memories of comfort. Snuggled up in bed, Forrest reading to you. Drinking spiced, what she said, non-alcoholic rum. But what? From with a festa. Ike and Jess. Nate waxing and wailing some tune on a lute. The feel of AJ's hand in yours. And you see your curiosity. Towers of books. Unfurled oceans of scrolls just spilling out. Detach yourself from this and all of the things that weigh you down.
So many things are now flooding through Fia's mind. And she sees her feeling of comfort. She sees her feeling of curiosity. And she starts to fear the loss of her feeling of love.
And fear wells up and appears on the table in front of you. The Flatstum estate. Face to face with the twisted visage of Asmodean. Norris and Ardat intertwined. The Battle of Tezrab. All of these moments of great fear. Fear of her first crush, kiss, small moments and big moments, all welling up, all sort of drawn from you, and they're sitting in front of you. You feel all of those emotions, but there is now a distance between them.
A craving wells up in her now of wanting to reach out. I think it's even just naturally for her to want to pull them back closer to her.
As you reach for them, you see the long black hand of the Raven Queen just reach out over them as well. And they start to shimmer.
Your mother made the same mistake. I granted her a second chance. I will not bestow that upon you.
What mistake did she make?
She sat at this table. I made her this offer.
And the room spins around you. You see Una sat the other side of the table, top end, where she would normally sit. And she's talking to somebody. And a moment or two later, her words kind of drift. And there's a faint recollection. I'll go check and see if he's back for us. No, it's okay. I'm just talking to myself. Keep reading to Fia. I'll see if I can find Quillo. And she leaves the room. and you see a shadow move across the wall. Something moves, something falls, and Forrest appears. And everything moves very, very quickly. And you hear her scream out, "Forrest! No! Not this!" And she looks up, and you feel her looking directly at you. And then there's a noise, and she turns. And she moves for the window. Her eyes lock on you, and she vanishes.
Did you do this to my dad?
No.
What was that?
Enemies of your mother's. People moving against her. I offered her the same deal I offer you now. Ruin and tragedy wait you down that other path. I can save you from it. I can save you from the hurt. I can protect you. I will shield you from the hate and the love. And you will be free.
Tears are streaming down Via's face right now. Tears of regret, of sorrow for blaming her mother for her dad's passing, for seeing one side of the story. She reaches up and wipes them away.
The guilt manifests, and like all the other emotions, you just see this table with these swirling lights, all different colours.
Seeing those lights and looking around at the Raven Queen, what she sees of her is grey compared to those feelings. I'm so sorry that Hadonna cursed you. When you told me that, the feelings of anger that welled up in me have not baited for a day since. But I am not afraid of my feelings. I'm not afraid of pain, of hurt, of dying. I want to try my best as I am. Even if that means I fail.
The lights, the emotions swirling on the table are drawn back in. You feel them, sort of, it's this rush. And the room fills with smoke.
I do promise you this one thing. Even as a measly little person that I am, compared to the gods, I will break what Hadonna has done to us.
Roll me a persuasion check.
13.
Silence. Darkness. And then you hear people talking. I don't know who she is. She wasn't with the... Okay. Give the young lady some breath. I think she's coming too. Miss, are you all right? And as your eyes again refocus and light kind of creeps in, and you're in a dark room, you can hear dripping water somewhere in the distance. You hear people kind of talking, and you hear that man's voice. And the little light that kind of comes in from the hallway illuminates the room you are in. And you're staring up into the face of Arthur McGucket. And next to him, kind of half jabbing you with a pointy little finger, Ike. Yeah, no, I think she's half dead. And jab, 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 as she casts Cure Wounds. Yeah, there's nothing. And that is where we leave our episode. You've been listening to Romancing the Dungeon with Louise and myself, Declan, as your Dungeon Master. Our title card and podcast artwork is by Dahi C Designs, and our theme song, Fight for Each Other, is by Stephen Tynan and Avi Soiree. I'm just going to be honest, there's going to be another episode in 2 weeks' time. We're not taking a break, but we are going to be running a Romancing the Dungeon special called Echoes of the Grove. I'm really, really excited for it to come out. Not only was it a lot of fun to get to run and play, but we're joined by some phenomenal role players and friends of Romancing Dungeon and D8 Dungeon. Apollo is returning and reprising his role as Ushin Metamoon, and he is going to be joined by Dylan from Hearthfire Tales, Caitlin from TTRPG Trials, and Nuno, who, if you've been watching D8 Dungeon Drive, has kept me on my toes for the last 2 years. Echoes of the Grove is based on the Hunt TTRPG system, and I'm going to be talking about that a lot, maybe on another episode of Ben and Declan on a Roll later on, but I really hope you check it out. It was an absolute pleasure to get to run that story for those 4 players and have them take it and just transform it into this really, really powerful piece. Echoes of the Grove will be dropping in 2 weeks' time. I might even drop some spoiler stuff, not spoiler sort of stuff, but I might start maybe putting some things out into the Discord or on our social media channels. So make sure you're following us at D8 Dungeon on all of the social media platforms, and there's a link to our Discord in the episode description below. Hopefully we see you over there. If not, I hope you have a good weekend, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time for Echoes of the Grove. Take care. And your father, and your mother, and Marilla. Basically, everybody knew about that diary. Everybody used to call it to Burbage. So just going to read that diary. No, I
That's why she gave her old diary today, because he was the only one who didn't fucking bother looking for it.
Please read my diary. You're the only person who hasn't read it. And he didn't read it.
Fucking wanker.
No, he did. He did go through it. Ivan read the pages. Nate didn't, but I did.
Ivan did. Thanks, Ivan.